The next part, I want to add a motion tween between these two. And the easiest way to do that, I can right click anywhere between the two keyframes. Doesn't matter where. I just right click in there, and then the first choice is create motion tween. And I know I did it right because the background turned slightly blue, and there is a solid line between one keyframe and the next, and there's a little arrow pointing. Here's the tail of the arrow, and here's the head of the arrow. So next we're going to add two more keyframes. At frame 10, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to choose insert keyframe again. So a new dot appears right below the 10. I'm going to do the same thing at 30. Right click, insert keyframe. So now I've got 4 keyframes, and I've got arrows between them each. Okay? 2 more steps before we're done with this layer. We're going to move the playhead. Notice how you move the playhead. There's this red rectangle up here above the red line that shows me exactly where in this movie the playhead is. If I grab this rectangle, I can move the playhead. I can also just click up here and it will move instantly to where I want the playhead to go. Well, right now I want you to move the playhead all the way to frame 1. So like I said, get the playhead lined up on frame 1. And then I want you to click once on the symbol. It's very important that you do not double click, because if you double click, you're going to go inside of the symbol and you'll see this gray area again. I need you to stay down in scene 1 and make sure you just click once on this symbol. Also, if you double click, all these frames up here are now gone. Whereas if I'm down in scene 1, I see all these frames that we just did. So again, playhead at frame 1, click on the image once, and then when I look down on the property panel, I see that it's showing me this is a symbol called symbol 1. And what we're going to change is over here, it's called color. And right now it says none, but I'm going to click on that and go down and choose alpha. And the percentage I have on alpha is 0. Alpha is the amount of transparency, or if it's all the way at 100, you can see the image perfectly, but if you bring it down to 50% or 60%, that's how transparent it's getting, the opacity. If I go all the way down to 0, I don't see it at all. And that's what I want you to do, is take the alpha value down to 0. And then we are going to move the playhead to the end of our movie, which is frame 40. I want you to click once again on the symbol that you see there, and down on the properties panel says color none. I want you to click on that and choose alpha, and this time it should go to 0 because it remembers what you chose last time, and then the picture appears to go away. I'm going to save this again, Apple S, and then I'm going to hit Apple Return, and we can see what this looks like. You can see the picture fades in, and then it fades out, and it fades back in. So this is kind of the direction we're going to go. Alrighty, now what we're going to do is we're going to make 3 more layers, and we're going to repeat all these steps. Before I insert a new layer, you can see, if you move the playhead, you can see what happens is that it fades out between these keyframes. Keyframes signal the beginning of a change or the end of a change. So here it's just static. It stays the same between these two keyframes at 10 and 30 because they're the same. And then between 30 and 40 it starts to fade out again because of the setting we put on the alpha. Now what I want to do is put the playhead at 1. And see the little eyeball right here? I'm going to click on this so that we don't see layer 1 anymore. And I'm going to add a new layer. And it's kind of a funky little button. It's right here. It's called Insert Layer. I'm going to click on that. And now I can see that I have a new layer. It's got a blank keyframe in it. And I'm going to just do all those steps all over again. I'm going to grab S2. I'm going to drag it out here, way too big. Going to come over to my Align panel, still have 2 stage selected, and it's this one right here that matches both width and height to the stage. The size is right. Now I just got to center it with 1 click and center it on the horizontal. Now it's the same size and location as my stage. Now with it selected, I am going to go to Modify, Convert to Symbol, and it's a graphic. I'm just going to call it Symbol 2, go OK, and then I'm going to click once right here to select frame 40. Then I'm going to right click in frame 40, insert keyframe. Very important that you choose keyframe and not frame. You can't use motion tween unless you have at least 2 keyframes, and we're going to end up with 4 again. So I'm going to insert keyframe. I can see it right there. Then I'm going to right click at 10. Oh, I forgot. Got to put the motion tween between these guys. So right click anywhere between them and choose that top choice, create motion tween. Then we get the arrow. Right click under the 10, insert keyframe. Right click under the 30, insert keyframe. Then I am going to drag this to frame 1. I'm going to click once on my image and go down to alpha. It goes to 0 again. Then I'm going to go to the very end, click once on my image, and then take color down to alpha, and it goes away. Then I'm going to hide this layer. I'm going to repeat it all again. I'm going to make a 3rd layer. Got layer 3. Going to grab S3. Drag it out here. It's too big. Match size. Center. Center. Click. Modify. Convert to symbol. Symbol 3. Name's fine. Graphic. That's fine. OK. I know it's a graphic. It's got the blue line around it. Going to click once in frame 40. Then I'm going to right click. Insert keyframe. Right click. Create motion tween. Blue background, solid arrow, everything's great.